What's up, folks? Welcome back to my goofy little channel here. Today I wanted to talk about racism and motorcycles and sexism, all this stuff. There's a thing going on Facebook right now that I saw that somebody's upset about something. I have no idea what actually went down, but they're claiming that this motorcycle shop is racist and sexist and whatnot. Now, my personal experience is I've bought 3 motorcycles from these people, and I posted on the thing in Facebook that I've never had a problem with them. I don't know, everybody's calling them racist and whatnot, and like I said, I've never had an issue with them. I bought 3 motorcycles from there. I bought a bunch of helmets. I bought jackets. Bought everything. I've done service. So I've used this dealership for everything that they've got, and it's never been an issue. And I got a message back today. I got a response to it saying that basically I'm a white man, so I can't know about these things. Well, my response to her was, I don't exist in a vacuum. I've got eyes, I've got a mind, I can see things. I've grown up and lived in areas where it's been predominantly black all my life. I don't, it's weird if I go to places like Kansas and Nebraska and whatnot, and I don't see black people. It's very strange. It feels weird to me. But either way, that shouldn't matter, and what I'm thinking is that, people are seeing racism in things that aren't exactly racist, that just because you might have a negative experience with someone doesn't necessarily make it racist. You may just, bad luck. I mean, I've been to car dealerships and never gotten any attention at all. Matter of fact, the reason I didn't buy, I used to have a Challenger, and I was wanting to trade it in because I wanted to get a pickup truck at the time. That was back in 2016. I went to the Chrysler dealership and I wanted to look at Dodge trucks, and because I wanted something with a diesel engine in it, and I was thinking I wanted something with a Cummins in it. So I was wanting to look at Dodge trucks, and I walked around that lot and not a single person ever spoke to me, even though I had bought a car from that lot just a few years before. I was driving that car that day, so I was a previous customer. I still had the vehicle, so I didn't have it repoed or anything like that. So I should have been, when they saw me out there, they should have been like, "Yeah, that guy's ready to buy something," or possibly, and come out and talk to me. But no, nobody ever did. So I did, left, and I went down to the Nissan dealership and I bought a Titan. And I did get the engine, the truck with the Cummins I wanted. Well, that's the kind of experience that I've had, and I'm supposed to be the privileged person in the world. Well, it's not always about race or sex or any damn thing that causes these things to happen. Sometimes it's just incompetence, sometimes they're busy, sometimes whatever. I don't know, but you talk with your money, and if somebody doesn't want to sell you something, you go somewhere else and and make them make them regret not, making that sale. That's how that works. But that doesn't necessarily make it a racist thing or a sexist thing. And in my opinion, this motorcycle shop, sexist, possibly, because there's not a lot of women who ride motorcycles, even with some prominent YouTube channels, having female motorcycle riders. Female motorcyclists are still an extreme minority, but that doesn't mean that the dealership is going to, just ignore you or whatever. Like I said, I don't know what happened. I really don't. But whatever it was, it upset her to the point where she made a post on Facebook saying this place's days are numbered and all that and whatever. But her comment to me also included the fact that the reviews on YouTube or on Google and whatnot had confirmed that they were racist. I'm like, that doesn't confirm anything. All that says is that there are people who have opinions. And I'm gonna tell you, this is a metric bike dealership. They sell Japanese bikes. So mainly sport bikes, probably, you know, and metric cruisers and whatnot. They also sell watercraft there too. But I am sure that there are people who go in there and want to test ride bikes, and when they get turned down for it, they get mad and think that it's racist. Well, no Japanese bike dealership will let you test ride a bike. It's just not going to happen. They won't let you do it. You know, I don't know why. I just know that that's the truth. I think Triumph will let you do it. Harley, you know, Indian, they'll let you do it. But as far as Japanese bikes, Yamaha, Suzuki, Honda, you know, Kawasaki, they ain't letting you test ride a bike. It's not going to happen. So, you know, there might be certain dealerships that will take the extra insurance to be able to let you test ride a bike, but typically it's you know, you're not test riding a bike in a Japanese bike dealership. So I really do think that a lot of people go in there, they want to test ride bikes and whatnot, and the guys are like, no, can't let you do it. You know, you either buy it or you don't, and that's just the way it is. And that's one of the pitfalls of buying motorcycles in general. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I'm thinking that might be a cause for it. Also, maybe people not being able to get financed might be a cause for it. I don't really know. But I've been into that dealership a lot of times. They've got people of all sexes and races working there. Maybe not all races, but, you know, both sexes and races anyway. And, you know, I've never seen an issue. I've had a lot of friends that were of different ethnicities and whatnot, and never seen anybody say that there was an issue there. They're not the nicest people in the world. They don't come up to you and you know, glad hand you the moment you walk in the door or anything like that. They don't come in there, you know, act like they're all happy to see you or anything. And you know, that's an approach that some places might take, you know, whereas other places might take a different approach. That's just, you know, that's just a general attitude in the dealership. Like I said, they've never been overtly nice to me, like, you know, oh, you know, great to see you or anything like that. It's never been like that, except for in the parts department. Parts departments, they're a little bit different there. But, you know, in the vehicle sales department, no, it's never been one of those places where they really attend to you or anything like that. So I think maybe people might think that's a little rude, especially women. Women probably think that's very rude. I don't really know. I mean, what I do know is that if I went to a Michael Kors, you know, store or a Revlon store, I'm probably not going to get treated the way I'm used to getting treated other places. And they're probably going to look at me like I'm a little weird because I'm going into a place where I'm a fish out of water. I'm not the typical consumer of those products, so, you know, they're not gonna look at me as a serious buyer right off the bat. Now, maybe if I look like, you know, some little Twinkie boy or something like that, they might think that, but I don't look like that, obviously. So they're not going to look at me as a serious buyer in that situation. So they're going to pay attention to who they perceive to be serious buyers first. You know, it's like the Pretty Woman thing or whatever. You know, she goes in there, tries to buy the jewelry and all that crap, and then whatever tries to. Anyway, point is that they're not. You know, these people are trying to make money. They make money, and they make money by selling things. And if you don't look like you're going to be a buyer, then they're not going to sell you. They're not going to try to sell you anything. And sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, but, you know, that's just the way they are. And I don't think that has anything to do with race or sex. It may have some to do with sex. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. But like I said, you're a woman walking into a man's world. You know, motorcycles are a man's world, period. You know, yes, I know women ride motorcycles, but, you know, let's just be honest. You know, it's just the way it is. So I saw this, you know, like and I just reject this idea that because I'm a white man, you know, that I have never experienced racism, I've never experienced sexism, and that is absolutely not true. I've experienced both, you know, and the difference between me experiencing that and you experiencing that is that nobody gives a shit when it happens to me. You know, I've had my instances of you know, blatant, you know, undeniable racism in my life coming towards me, and very sexist attitudes and whatnot. And it's perfectly fine for in society for people to do that to me. So nobody cares when it happens to me. But I have experienced it, and I've experienced other people experience that stuff too. But in my professional life, ever since I've been working, when I started working when I was 15 years old, up until now, 47 years old now, so 32 years of working, I have never ever in my life witnessed anyone at a job or in a professional level treat anybody any differently because of who they are as an individual. Unless they were, a rude, nasty customer or whatever, that's different. But that's, not I'm talking about from the start. If you turn into something that, that you don't need to be, then, you get what you get. But, if you're a decent customer and you don't act like a lunatic, then, people will treat you with respect and dignity and whatnot, and you will get what you need. People want to make money, and they want, and above all, they don't want to get fired from their jobs. So they're not going to they're not going to go out there and say things to you or do things to you that are blatantly racist or sexist, because that's a really quick way to get fired. But even just rude, a lot of times, they don't want to lose their jobs because they don't want to, that's a big problem for most people. Most people don't have enough savings to weather a storm like, oh, well, I just got fired because I have a bad attitude. So, the entire idea that that places, these retail places or dealerships or whatever are sexist or racist, I'm just not buying it. I really don't. I mean, it's people look for racism to answer other problems, and it's like, I think you need to look for other answers first. I think the vast majority of this country has been flipped from the attitudes of antiquity into a modern outlook on life and whatnot. I don't buy the whole sexist racist argument. To a certain degree, the sexist thing as far as a motorcycle shop goes, it's just the way it is. But as far as racist, absolutely not. Especially considering when you consider that the city that I live in and where this dealership is based in is over 50% black. You cannot exist in business in that city and not like black people. It's not possible. You cannot be treating black people like garbage in that city and be able to and expect to stay in business for very long, because there's other places to go. There's other dealerships around, very close around, so there's really no reason why anybody would go to that dealership when they could just go over somewhere else, not far away, 15, 20 miles away, and go to another dealership. So that attitude, I'm just not buying it, and I really reject this whole idea that because I'm a white man, I don't know anything. Like, whatever. Like, I ain't been living under a rock, dummy. These modern attitudes that people have about these types of things it's just disgusting. That's racist towards me. If you really want to talk about racism, that's racist towards me to just assume that I have never faced adversity in my life. I don't know what it's like to be treated differently than somebody else because of my race or my sex. That is racist and sexist towards me without even knowing it. But I don't care. That doesn't bother me. I just reject that idea. So I don't know who needs to see that. Probably nobody will see this, but I think maybe it could help some people and at some point say, it's just stop looking for the worst case scenario and start looking for the most common answer, which is probably incompetence or indifference. That's most likely what caused whatever happened to her at that dealership. Most likely incompetence or indifference or absolute busyness. I don't know. But the racist, sexist thing, I doubt it. I just absolutely doubt it. So anyway, that's my rant. I will talk to you guys later, and have a good day.